On the other hand, the United States, I think this week, on one hand, is warning that it's ready to impose additional sanctions against top officials in Zimbabwe if the power arrangement falls apart. But on the other hand, the U.S. is also saying that under the right conditions, the U.S. would be willing to give assistance to your country and send experts to help rebuild the economy.
Look, they are giving those warnings. Why give those warnings at all? What is the cause for them? And we react to them. And we are a sovereign country. And what has the United States to do with us at all? We ask the question. They cannot answer that. Are they ruler of the world? You see, this is where we get angry with them. Why should they concern themselves with the internal happenings of our country like Zimbabwe? We have our own organizations which take care of that.
On the other hand, then, how would you characterize, for example, your relationship with China and Russia? We know that China and Russia here at the UN in July vetoed the resolution that would have imposed sanctions on your country. So how is that relationship evolved, and where does it stand these days?
Well, during the liberation days, we depended on China and the Soviet Union for the initial training of our cadres, and also for the weaponry we got. And we got huge quantities of the arms that we used during the guerrilla fights from both countries. And although the Soviet Union is no more, but you still have Russia, which was the main component of the Soviet Union anyway. And China, we have had this relationship also continuing since those days. And it's not just that fact, it's also the fact that they realize that, in fact, the United States and the other permanent members were bending rules and trying to manipulate the United Nations system in order to punish an innocent country. You see, it was quite evident. You know, when the G8 meeting was held in Japan, African leaders appealed to the G8 leaders there not to proceed, because, you see, with the resolution, finalizing the resolution and then presenting it to the Security Council, because they had already given warning that they were going to do that on Zimbabwe. And they said the matter was being handled in Africa by SADC and the African Union. And why shouldn't they give us a chance, give Africa a chance? They refused completely and said they were going to proceed foolhardy. Now, why? Why all that determination? Why that commitment? Who have we attacked, even within our region? What harm has Zimbabwe ever done to any part of the world which is not Zimbabwe? We have not attacked anybody. We have not been a threat by word or deed to any country. And so, did we deserve to be treated that way under Chapter 7? Why? You see the dishonesty of it all. And the African leaders couldn't accept that it was an honest approach at all. It wasn't. But there you are, manipulating. And this is what really we don't understand. Actions that are objective from the West. I was going to say the West is mainly Christian, but its Christian values, they throw them to the wind completely. And it took communist countries, mind you, and Russia was communist not long ago. Communist countries, to be honest, and to be moral on the question, ethical. It's wrong, the charter doesn't apply, it's immoral. Why do you want to do it on a state that has not, qualified
Right. So
in terms of its actions to come under that chapter?
Right. So Russia and China basically maintained, their position was that Zimbabwe was not a threat to international
We're not
peace
a
and
threat to
security.
it. Yeah.
May I just turn a little bit to just current events here in the United States? What impact do you see the financial crisis on Wall Street having in Africa and particularly in Zimbabwe?
It's all a surprise to us, actually. A great surprise. A great country with, all that experience, all that expertise, and knowledge of how money and these arrangements regarding money have to be handled. Why should this ever have happened at all? You see, we don't understand how it can be that these companies, whether it's the Lehman Brothers or AIG, could have created a situation like that. And we are saying, if at the end of it all, this affected the ordinary man, if the ordinary man saw that or was offered an opportunity, to use some of those mortgages, buy a house, buy a car, and so on and so forth, and was not able at the end of it to pay for it. So what's going to happen? What's going to happen not just to the companies, but also to the ordinary people? How are they going? But the 700 billion that they propose, we don't know where it's going to come from. But in the past, they've condemned us in my country just now for using quasi fiscal measures in order to, provide means to the country with which we could address, areas of hunger and starvation. And they've said, no, these are wrong methods of handling finance. It should never be done that way. Everything must follow the fundamentals, and the supply and demand must operate. But now we are just waiting to see where this 700 billion is going to come from. Is it going to come from taxes? No. I'm sure the people will not agree to being taxed.